Guys, welcome to Self Cross Media. Today we are here to interview one of important personality in our mix, and we are here to talk about Africa, old leaders in Africa, elections in Africa, and there is a lot of things you want to hear about Africa. Be with me, and you are gonna be inspired. I'm here with Sir Lord. Sir, come in. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very good. I hope you are too.
Oh, I'm also good. Today, who are you, please?
My name is Charles Yeboah, and affectionately, I'm called Selot.
Okay.
I'm a writer, and I have a lot of stories published on Modern Ghana, and then on Ghana Web as well, and then on other social media platforms.
Okay.
Yeah, so I write about politics, entertainment, sports, a lot.
Okay.
But today, since we are here to talk about politics, I will limit it to the political aspect.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Today we are here to talk about the elections of Nigeria elections. A lot of people are saying that Nigerians have voted for an old aged man who can't rule over 200 million people. And how do you explain this to the people of Africa?
Oh, okay. Thank you. I've also heard that Nigerians, some are even saying Nigerians didn't make the right choice.
Okay.
I heard it from one Efia Swasnega, who is a comedian in Ghana, a lady comedian.
Is he a comedian?
Yeah. That's
wow.
That's how
is a comedian.
That's what.
Oh, specifically, I don't know.
That she's a comedian.
Okay.
And then there's A plus. A plus, what else they write about her that him that is also a comedian.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I read it on Ghana Web that they were ridiculing Nigerians for electing someone who is over 70. But I don't see any reason for them to do that. Or maybe because they are comedians, that is their fault. So you can't begrudge them for ridiculing him.
Oh, okay.
But the fact of the matter is, choosing a leader who is over 70 is not the deal. Because hitherto, even those who are Christians, biblically, when Moses, Abraham, all those people, before they led their people, they were over 70.
Okay.
If you've read it from the Bible. So why is it that today somebody who is 70 can lead people? There was a politician in Ghana who was called G.H. Mensah. Okay. He was a brother to Teresa Kufuor, the wife of President Kufuor. Okay. He has been in parliament for many years, and then people ask him that, but you are getting older. Why is it I don't sit at home for the younger people to lead? His answer, the answer he gave them was very interesting.
Interesting, okay.
He said, when people ask me this question, I also ask them that when we go to parliament, is it not laws that we are going to make there?
Yeah.
Are we going to break firewood, or we are going to carry blocks? We are going to sit down, Jojo, and then express ideas. That is the mandate of an elected parliamentarian or elected president in this democratic era. Okay. So if Nigerians have elected Bola Tinubu, the question people should ask is he having a fine mind? Is he having the strength that when they call him, he will be able to be around to have discussion with him? And on the other hand too, a leader, you are not the jack of all trade.
Okay.
You are not the one going to decide everything for your people. You have your cabinet, and even when you come to the governance system, we are having the normal three branches of government we talk about. Okay. The legislature, the judiciary, and then the executive. And then within the executive too, you are having your cabinet. The people that you reason with. People that you've appointed to various positions that they will bring their ideas on board. Okay. So if Nigerians have elected Bola Tinubu, and they think he's old, and since we are in a democratic era where a leader will not pick a sword or a spear or a bow and arrow to go and stand at the war front to fight, but we are having we are having the army, the military, people that have been trained for that purpose, and his is to sit in the office and then be issuing orders for people to follow.
Okay.
What is wrong with it choosing somebody who is old? Then, there are many African countries that they've chosen people who are younger than Bola Tinubu.
Okay.
But the effects we are having from the leadership of such people, at times even the older people are performing better than them.
Which area? Which country?
Look at Cote d'Ivoire, for instance.
Okay.
Recently, when 2010, after the election crisis, after the elections, and then Laurent Gbagbo said he has won.
Okay.
And those who were following Alassane Ouattara also said Alassane Ouattara has won. There was conflict, civil rife, and so military came in. The military came in, and then Gbagbo was arrested and was taken to International Criminal Court. Okay. He was jailed, and then Alassane Ouattara became president. Alassane Ouattara is at the same age as that of Tinubu.
And you would think La Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast, their economy is good. Is it good?
Oh, yes. Let me say comparatively or relatively.
Okay.
Not relatively to Nigeria, because Nigeria's economy is the biggest in Africa. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa.
Okay. That's the reason why a lot of people think that Nigerians are over 200 million.
Yeah.
These people, they are any people, their economy is so large. How can old man's 70 years can rule this kind of populated people?
Like I said earlier, you see, leading people in this democratic era,
Okay.
the physical demand of a leader is so limited.
Okay.
We don't talk about the physical demand because you, the leader, you use more of your brain. Than your physical, your strength.
Okay.
So, and then using your strength to, if you become a president, it's not necessary that everything they demand your presence there.
Okay.
You delegate people for such activities that you can be present there. So if Tinubu is over 70 years, and like Ouattara came and then Cote d'Ivoire was in crisis, is able to bring the people together, stabilize the economy, make the country, there's tranquility, there's no more deaths as it is in the civil strife and the war and those things.
Okay.
Tinubu too can go the same path.
Okay.
Because if you are old, I don't see the reason with it. Let me bring in America.
Okay.
America, there are more than 300 million people. Meaning their population is more than that of Nigeria. Because Nigeria is around 200 million.
Okay.
Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa. America is the biggest economy in the world. And America, Joe Biden is over 70. He is in his 80s now.
Okay.
And if someone is in his 80s, he's ruling a country that is the biggest economy in the world. America is the world police. They have ammunition. So if an 80-year-old octogenarian can rule America with all this accolade we have about them, why is it that someone who is younger than Joe Biden can rule Nigeria? So such question, I don't know. Maybe like I said earlier, because they are comedians.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you this one. I don't get it that Peter Obi won Lagos. Why is Mohammed Enebu did not won Lagos? Look at seeing Lagos is most what's the name populated area or most great area in area. Why is it that Peter Obi won the place and Mr. Enebu lose the area?
The thing is, maybe you want to mean Tinubu has been a governor of Lagos. And automatically he should have won. Maybe that's what we mean. Not even only that. His wife was a senator in Lagos. And when you go to Lagos, they call Tinubu as the father of Lagos. But surprisingly, in the elections then, the 25th February elections then, Peter Obi, who was a bit younger and then leading a relatively younger party, the Labour Party won Lagos. Yeah. And he was able to beat Tinubu, who is having a stronghold there. Yes, the thing is, Tinubu was able, through his campaign, able to capture the youthful population. Okay. Because like when you compare the other two main contenders, the PDP's Abubakar, the former vice president, okay. Atiku Abubakar, he was 76 years. Okay. And then Tinubu, the flag bearer for the incumbent party, the APC, he was 71 years.
Are you sure that Mr. Tinubu is 71 years?
Yes, for his sure? The official age. That was
official age.
Official age given to us was 71 years. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay. That he's 71. Though you may say, oh, because there are some people, because of troubles they've gone through, okay. they may look older than their normal age. Okay. But if he's of sound mind, and the way Nigerians write about him, that he was able to transform Lagos. And they voted for him nationally to lead them, the Federal Republic of Nigeria now, meaning they know what they've seen in him. Okay. So Peter Obi winning Lagos doesn't automatically mean he should win the whole of the country. Maybe he centered his campaign in the commercial capital, okay. but he was not able to stretch it to the villages. Okay. And the good thing is now, when he lost the bid to become president, okay. he didn't get to the streets to demonstrate, to cause his followers to throw stones and demolish government property. But he's going to the court. That's what he's saying. But he has done it before. Obi? Yeah, Peter Obi says he's going to court. Okay. Before he became senator sometime in 2006. The elections was somewhere in 2003. Okay. And then he went to court. It took 3 years before the court was able to decide that he has won the governorship and became a governor.
Peter Obi.
Okay. So Peter Obi has been a governor before. But before he became a governor, he came to power through going to the courts. So now, because we are in democratic era, I'm happy that he didn't resort to street protests and he says he's going to court, because he has seen it before. Okay. If you are in a country and we don't believe in the country judicial system, it means we are doing evil to our own selves. Okay. Because when people go to the streets and they come in conflict with the army, the police, there can be casualties. Yeah. And when people are not there, whom are you going to rule over? Yeah. When they even give the seat to you? We've seen that in a lot of African countries where leaders lose elections, and instead of resorting to the courts, they call their people to the streets, and there's chaos and mayhem. Yeah. And there will be a lot of deaths and insecurity. A lot of things will happen. But now that he's gone to court, let's trust the judicial process. Okay. If they think he won, and indeed there has been cheating, or there has been vote pardon, or there was some intimidation that his people were not there before the ballot was counted, the court will decide. Okay. Besides, like we are saying, he's a bit younger than Tinubu. He's having more years ahead of him. Yeah. If Tinubu 71 years has been elected now, and Peter Obi is 60, he can still come. He's having over 10 years before he reached Tinubu's age and Atiku's Abubakar's age. So all things are not lost for him. He won Lagos. If he's able to take his campaign strategy to the villages or to the other places, maybe next time they will know him better. Okay. And if he's done well, because look at where he came from, splitting from other major political party and then starting the Labour Party, and within a few years of mobilizing people, he's been able to come third in the elections, meaning the Nigerian people have seen something good in him. Yeah. So he should not rest. Okay. So let's go back to the youthful thing that you are talking about. Yes, if maybe they would have elected Peter Obi with his youthful age, maybe he could have been the strong soldier to lead them. Okay. But does it work like that always? It is not mechanical. Okay. That because you are young, when you lead us, we can achieve good things. It doesn't work like that. Okay. There are some people, they are young, but they came to power and they have destroyed everything that the country has built. At times, it is not the best thing naming some countries that chose people that didn't help.
Yeah.
But we can also talk without naming some. Let's go to Gambia, the Gambia.
Okay.
Baba Yaya Jammeh came to power when he was around 29 years.
Yeah.
He led the country. He came to power through coup when he ousted the Seydou Jawara.
Okay.
He came to power and it got to a time that he was like everything of the country. You can't challenge him in an election. If you stand against him, you are a threat to him.
Okay.
There were many political prisoners, a lot of extrajudicial killings, arbitrary arrests of his opponents. Meanwhile, he was young. It got to a time that he was even saying, and he made Africa a radical in the eye of the Western media.
Oh.
He said he's having cure to HIV/AIDS. He's having cure to infertility. When people are sick, they should not go to hospital. They should come for his concoction.
Look at
Some
this.
people dig deep into it, and his concoction was about plantain leaves and all those things. And he said he can cure AIDS. People believed in him, and they were dying because of what he said. So you look at it. He was young. When they voted and then Adama Barrow won the election, this guy conceded defeat. He got to a time that I don't know who advised him again. And he said, no. I didn't concede defeat. I was not defeated. I won. It took ECOWAS, African Union, and the world bodies to come in, talk to him before he gave the seat to the eventual successor, who was Adama Barrow.
Okay.
So he was young. When he was coming to power through coup, he said the leader there was not performing well.
Okay.
His youthful exuberance, he's come to lead the Gambian nation war and then give them democracy. He came to spoil the way of ruling. You understand that?
Yeah.
So it is not about the age.
Okay, until you're asking, you are just in the ruling. It's not about age.
It's not about age. It is about who can do the work.
Who can do the
Either
work?
you are young or old, and you have the capacity to perform,
Okay.
to better the economy and better the life, the socio-economic life of your people.
Okay.
It doesn't. Your age does not matter,
Okay.
provided you have sound mind.
Okay. May I ask you this? Africa, you look at Africa, the youth of Africa are struggling. Every time you don't get a work to do, everybody want to travel abroad to get a great area to stay, to get amount, because in Africa there's no work, and a lot of people think that it is because of the leaders of Africa, especially the old aged people. They don't have a future for the people of Africa, especially the youth of Africa. They don't have a foresighted or the youth of Africa. How do you think about this?
Okay, I get your question.
Okay.
There was a BBC poll, I think last 2 years, that I read.
Okay.
It was talking about when Africans were interviewed, the youth in Africa were interviewed.
Okay.
It was only Ghana and Rwanda
Okay.
that more than 50% of the populace that were interviewed said they like it living in Africa to make it. Because in Ghana, there's hope. In Kigali, Rwanda, led by Paul Kagame, there too there's hope. But in Nigeria, less than only less than 10 people, 10 people out of 100 interviewed that said they like it living in Nigeria. But more than 90% of the people interviewed said they would want to travel abroad and make it. See, it is not because old people are leading. That is why Africans are migrating to other places. If Nigeria now, because it's Nigeria that we are talking about, that we brought this question.
Okay.
Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa, in West Africa. And by far, I think Africa, the whole of Africa, they are the biggest economy. It depends on where the economy has been centered, the focus, the basket. What is it, the strength of the youth? Are you pulling it to help the economy? Ghana, we are known for peacekeeping.
Okay.
So if a leader in Ghana and you want to bring more of the youth on board, irrespective of your age. Like our president too is over 70. So since Ghanaians do well during peacekeeping mission, and if the government want to cool them into the economy, you can organize things like more youth will be recruited into the military, into the army, into the police, and they'll be deployed to other countries that they need our expertise there. So, by so doing, you are getting more youth into the economic chain. The gross domestic products of your country. You bring the youth on board. If maybe you can also go into production.
Okay.
There are some other parts of the economy that you need that you need the physical demands of the youth. Then you bring that one too on board. So it is not about because an aged leader has been chosen, for that matter, the youth cannot be employed. Because there are some work you need the youth to do it. You don't need an aged person. So the fact that an aged person is sitting at the helm doesn't mean that young people should not be employed. So at times, it is about we not knowing what we can do with what we have. That is the cause of our misery. People migrating. And migration actually is not about work. People not getting work to do. There are some people, whatever you do, I think you let the man go down a bit because I think I can still talk. You can, yeah, it's okay. So you see, it is not about people they are traveling because they are not getting work to do.
Okay.
Get it in mind that when you go to our big cities here in Africa, you see the whites there. They move from America, Britain, Japan,
they just
China. They are Uganda.
For only tour.
Yes, some come for tourism. Some also come here to work. There are some employed even by Ghanaians.
Okay.
If you go to Accra, you see, even not only in Accra, you see the Chinese people at our mining sector sites there. What are they doing? They are working. But China's economy is the second in the world. They are second to Americas. They leapfrog Japan. First, Japan was second, and now China has overtaken Japan. But the Chinese are everywhere in Africa.
Yeah, because they think Africa is a place where they can get a lot of resources.
They can make it here. They can get the resources and they will make it here.
To recruit or to steal a lot of
very good
resources from here.
So what it means is that migration simply does not mean because you are not being migrating is being economic migrant.
Yeah, okay.
Some migrate because of the instability in his area. Nigeria, for instance, the Boko Haram issue. It can compel people to move from where they are living because some are they've been displaced from their area of abode because of the conflict. They ran away from the area, and also some too they travel because of education. So that they will go and get better education somewhere, and then they come back to help the economy. So migration simply does not mean people are going to find work to do.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Recently, let's check the system of Africa. Are you having hope in Africa that African can change one day? Because there's a lot of mysteries in Africa. Me, myself, maybe God can change things around. But I'm asking you that, and you have a hope, or you have hope that one day Africa can change?
Sure. We say, whilst we live, there is hope. I don't know, in history, there's a small city that was called Babylon. Now Babylon is no more. Babylon was a beautiful place that was technologically advanced more than thousands of years ago, even before Jesus Christ. But now Babylon is lying under the ruins, in the ruins under the dunes of the Sahara Desert, where only cattle rearers go there. But hitherto first, Babylon was even beautiful than the Dubai we know today.
Ancient days.
Ancient Babylon was beautiful than the how do you call it?
Dubai.
The Dubai we know
Dubai,
today.
you know.
People were going there to market. People were going there to buy things. People were working. And Dubai, Babylon was a beautiful place.
Okay.
But Babylon collapsed, and now we don't see Babylon.
Okay.
So nothing is static. Africa is having the potential to become great, and even greater than the European countries we see. Maybe you may not know. First, the ancient Egyptian pharaohs, their effigy, their pictures,
Okay.
was printed on some of the currency of the European countries.
Okay.
As example, Greece.
Okay.
When the Greece leaders were coming to Africa to beg arms from African leaders. If you've heard in history, the richest person that ever lived, his name was Mansa Musa II.
We will talk about Aman. I've heard about
He was
Aman.
he was the king of Africa
Okay.
in those days, like we call Ghana.
In
Like,
Sudan?
not Mali.
Mali, okay.
Yeah, Mali. That by then it comprised the current Ghana we are having today,
Okay,
part of Nigeria,
Nigeria.
Benin, Mali, there, Timbuktu, Gao, all those places were under him.
Okay.
That was a Mansa Musa.
This one is a great history.
Yes, he was the richest person ever to live.
Live.
And now the Rockefellers, the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musk, Amancio Garcia, all those people, their money, you can't compare to what Mansa Musa made.
Wow.
Those days.
Super
He
amazing.
was very rich. And he was African.
Okay.
He was a Ghanaian king. Let me say it that way.
Okay.
It was that name Ghana that J.B. Dankwa brought upon our Gold Coast
Okay.
to replace our Gold Coast.
Okay.
So, with the mindset that we can also be rich like he was. So, Africa, there's hope.
Okay.
It depends on we choosing leaders that are having the people at heart and is willing to work. Then also, it starts from our homes. Those who are leaders now, they didn't rise up one day overnight and they became leaders. They started from somewhere. Are the youth also prepared also to take up mantle? Are they preparing themselves? Are they not also corrupt in their little places they have them? Recently, there was the release of results for those who are going to senior high schools in Ghana.
Okay.
And there was an investigation about investigative journalism that brought out that the people who are working at the offices, they are taking bribes from parents
Okay.
to give school placement to people that did not qualify for such first class schools.
They don't deserve that first class.
Yes, they don't deserve it. Their qualification wasn't. The qualification were not, or their results were not qualified into that school.
Look how this.
Yet they were able to pay themselves through.
Yeah.
They paid bribe. Who were the people who collected the bribes? They were Ghanaians. These same people will sit on radio, they will sit on television, and then they will accuse elected officials that they are corrupt.
Okay.
So the corruption aspect starts from our homes, our schools, our churches, before we get there. So if there can be hope in Africa, it starts from every one of us, from infancy, from the highest person to the lowest person,
Okay.
from the younger person to the aged person. When we all have a change of mind. And we say we are patriotic, we are fighting for Africa, we are fighting for our country, there is hope for us.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Should we fix the system of Africa, especially Ghana, or we need to fix our ideas as the people of Africa?
It goes hand in hand. It moves in tandem. It is like the egg and the hen issue. When you get this, you are going to get that. If you have egg, you are going to have hen. If you have hen, you are going to have egg. So that is how it is. If we change our psyche, we can do something better. When Barack Obama came to Ghana, when he was elected, and his first trip to sub-Saharan Africa, he came to Ghana's parliament. And he said something that has become a catchphrase for every one of us, that Africa needs strong institutions, not strong men. At times, I put it in a different way, that Africa needs strong men also to build strong institutions.
Okay.
So the two move hand in hand. Strong institutions will bring strong men. Strong men too are the ones who build strong institutions. You understand it? So when we change our psyche, our mind, we can develop Africa. Then also, when we have someone who is one person who is having a change mind, a leader, a focused leader, a strong leader, he can change a number of people in Africa, our psyche.
Okay.
It is like we say, when you are having 10 sheep, 10 sheep led by one goat, they can cross a bridge. But when you are having 10 goats led by one sheep, when crossing the bridge, they may fall in. What simply it means is that it needs a strong leader, not strong as it is in physical look. The physical thing that more time we'll be talking about, like I've said earlier, I don't see any reasoning, excuse my French, I don't see any reasoning in it to say that. Because during Second World War, America was having Franklin Delano Roosevelt as their president. Roosevelt was paralyzed by polio when he was in his 30s. And in his old age, he became president of America. He was sitting in the White House issuing orders to the military, and the Western world was able to come through the Second World War and overcame the Adolf Hitler and his three others. And the world saw freedom. Meanwhile, the leader of the West powerful nation at the time was wheelchair bound.
You see?
So it is not about your physical presence.
The leadership is not a strength.
No. It's about your idea.
Wow.
So if we have a leader that can change our psyche, that can change our thinking, there is nothing that says we can make it. We can make it in Africa. Africa is having all the potentials. We are having the higher chunk of the natural resources. Even if we don't add value to our natural resources, just selling our crude resources, we can still make it. When people compare Libya, how Gaddafi was able to make Libya a beautiful place for more Africans to troop in there. Libyan people don't go into much production. Much of the things that Libyans are having are done by the white, the Western world. They buy from them. They just mine their oil. They sell it to the world market. And in the process, they use it to provide what the people need. Libya is not having rivers like we are having in much part of Sub-Saharan Africa. They have the deserts. But he was the Libyan leader then, Muammar Gaddafi, was able to give them aquifer, where they got water, clean water from under the rocks and from the desert. And the people were living a better life as compared to many European countries. And many Africans were migrating there to just seek employment, better work to do. And they were doing things back home, better things back home. So Africa is having all the potentials, but it needs dedicated leaders. Dedicated people who aspire to leadership positions, and then they do something good for themselves and then for the people who elected them.
Mr. Lord, may I ask you this question? Like, look at the system of Africa, our education system need to be changed. We need to do a little bit changes in education system. How do you take that one? Because our education system only is only about read and write.
Yes.
We are not we learn only the theory. That one, I think so. The education system is bringing Africa down. How do you explain that one to the people of Africa?
I get you. When President Nkrumah was ousted and then he went to live in Conakry, Guinea, he wrote a book. The title of the book was Dark Days in Ghana. Unfortunately, that book, when he wrote it, the leaders who ousted him at that time didn't let the Ghanaian people get that book to read. Personally, I read it from Legon Bam Library. I had a friend there who was working there. So one day I went to his office and I saw the book. And I said, Nkrumah wrote this book and I've not seen it because I read a lot.
Okay.
So definitely, since I've been going to libraries, I should have met that book. But I've never set my eyes on it. So when I saw it, I said, can I have it? And he told me they are now recording it onto a cassette. So if I can have the chance to read it, meaning I have to come to his office every day so that I'll read it and then I'll put it there. And I dedicated about 2 weeks to it.
Okay.
And I was moving from my place to his office until I finished reading the book.
Okay.
What I read was that he wrote that when he came to office, he saw that everything about Ghana's education was only to serve the Western world, the economy, but not ours. So his main idea was to change everything about our education. So he started a boarding school system.
Okay.
And where people will move from Accra and go to school in Upper North, Tamale, those places. People in Bono region will move to Kumasi. Like he was bringing us together so that we will know that we are going to have assimilation of our traditions and culture. And also a practical learning. So he started this young pioneer thing and all those education system.
Okay.
And he gave some people some scholarship to go and learn freely.
Wow.
So meaning Nkrumah was having this idea of changing our education system. Then also, a major problem that even after Nkrumah wrote this book, that he was not able to finish what he was about to do before he was ousted. Any European country you go to, or the developed countries in America, say United States of America or Canada, you will not go there and see people whose qualification are below degree or PhD teaching in basic school. They don't employ people who have completed, having their first degree teaching crèche.
Okay.
Those people, if they will employ them to teach, they will employ them at the higher level.
Okay.
But people who have the chance to teach crèche, kindergarten, class 1, they employ people who are having their PhDs, who are having their masters, educated people. So they build the case from their infancy. But here in Africa, particularly Ghana, and in our government schools, when they are employing people to teach their case, they will employ somebody who has completed junior high school, senior high school. At the highest is teacher training college. So this person is not well trained.
Indeed, the word is well